So let me quickly cover the starting point of this challenge. So these are the three characters that I'm going to be trying to hit 3k rating on. It's my Death Knight DPS, Vengeance Demon Hunter, and Mistweaver Monk. Now at the moment of filming, I am in Wednesday, the very start of the reset of week 6 in the War Within Season 2. I've literally just leveled my Monk 2 weeks ago, and the Demon Hunter is the first time I'm playing Demon Hunter, and I leveled it last week. Gear is going to be instrumental to this, especially for these two characters, which I have very little experience with tanking. I haven't tanked seriously since TBC, and I am not the best healer at all. So that will probably be the crux of the challenge, whether I can hit 3k on my Mistweaver. And why is it not going to be super easy? I just have two friends who play DPS as their mains. I don't play in a guild, I don't have any other friends to play with. Well, we actually have my vault available now, so let's go open the vault on all of my characters and hope for something good. As I said, item level is going to be instrumental. Let's open the vault. Oh, and pray for something good. Shoulders. I don't know. Whoa, these have speed. But this is a bit greedy because do I need the speed to complete my challenge? No. But speed wins. Okay, speed wins. Head and haste crit ring. Bloodbath signet. I think this is the best ring. Haste crit and haste verse are best stats, as far as I understand. Best stat combos for Mistweaver. Will get the ring. If I get a good Mythic item right now, then this will be a huge help. I really need gear to carry me on my Demon Hunter. Oh no. Oh no. I am getting sockets. Actually, that LFR neck. Why is it veteran if it was at least champion 658? I can't believe I'm taking a necklace from LFR. After checking my vaults, it was time to jump straight into M+, as there was no time to lose. I did a couple of 8s on my Demon Hunter to warm up, and then it was time to do some 10s. And it's crazy how easy and comfortable 10s actually felt, considering I've only played Demon Hunter and tank for a week. I've never tanked an M+ before this, but I was pleased to find that it was really smooth. And despite me being pretty clumsy on the Demon Hunter for now, even harder keys like Priory felt pretty easy. At this point my plan was to get 4 10s done on my DK and DH, and then spam a bunch of 8s on my Monk, or 7s basically for crests, and then the rest of the reset basically spamming keys, whether it's 10s or crest keys. So as per that plan, I finished off the DH session with 2 more 10s. After that, it was time to jump on my DK and go straight into 10s, because 10s for my DK, this is my main. It's pretty business as usual, so can warm up in 10s directly. Emboldened by how well things were going on my DH and my DK, I decided to jump into Workshop 12, and I actually timed it pretty easily. Man, is this even going to be a challenge at all? Let's go straight into another 12. Oh wait, never mind.
Well,
I see. Yeah, they really don't all go according to plan.
Well, you did the most card damage by a long shot, holy f.
I tried. I also decided to pug One Arm Bandit normal because this drops my only real usable trinket in the patch. Outside of Delves, which I don't want to farm, but this trinket is pretty hard to get. It did drop, but I did not win the roll. In between the dungeons I would upgrade my gear and craft new pieces as I got the crests for it. And then I jumped straight back into 12s, thinking that this is gonna be easy, but alas, it was not. Some of them go well, and some of them don't. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. Failing the 12, I'd go for the 11, just because I still needed 11 keys, and those were definitely a lot easier than 12s. In fact, I felt like 11s were so easy that there was really a big difference between 12s and 11s, and of course this is the Xalatath affix plus the extra scaling from the extra level. At this point I've done a bunch of keys on my Demon Hunter and Death Knight, so I decided to even it out by doing some on my Monk, and I started with 6s just to start farming those crests and hero track items. I must say, to begin with, I felt really awkward controlling my Monk, and one missed GCD could often mean death for you, one of your party members, or your entire group. But as I kept running the keys on the Monk, I got more and more comfortable and less awkward and janky with my abilities. And yeah, 6s and 7s started becoming pretty smooth and easy for me. The one thing I kept having a difficulty with was keeping myself alive while healing the group. I would often get hit by things that I would never get hit on, my DPS characters, and just die. So this happened quite a few times, and definitely something to iron out. Nevertheless, I kept pushing through those 6s and 7s, and like I said, they were pretty easy. Sometimes my lack of experience with being ready for huge damage would show, and my party would die. Thankfully, in this case, we had a favorable overlap, and this hunter survived and killed the boss on his own. So I kept absolutely spamming those keys on my monk. In between those, I would craft gear and upgrade my items as usual. So I tried farming Theater of Pain on like 10 and 11, and then I just went straight into Cinder Brew at low levels just to do it as fast as possible to try and get the neck. And by the way, spoilers, but I did not get the neck this week. After doing a few Cinder Brew 6s, I decided to do my 11 Cinder Brew key, which went pretty smoothly, and I went straight into my 12, which was a Dark Flame Cleft. We pretty easily timed the Dark Flame Cleft, and again, emboldened by this, I decided to take the next key, which was a Cinder Brew 13, and make a giga party with like 3k plus people, 3.1k plus group. I got the sign up of 4 people that were all geared and all high rated, and I decided, screw it, let's go for the 13. But even though we made good progress, we didn't really have enough damage. We cleared the second boss, and those corridors before the second boss slowed us down greatly, and I started to understand how difficult and annoying this dungeon actually is. And just after the second boss, on our way to the third boss, the tank derped a bit and died, and this just took a further toll on our timer, and we decided to call it quits there. But I decided not to give up and try the Cinder Brew 12, because that's gonna be easy, right? I mean, 12s are so straightforward, right? Wrong, because our tank died on the second pull, and the key was over. But I was in luck because one of my 2 good friends had a Cinder Brew 12, and she actually had resilience at 12, so she didn't mind trying the 12 with me. And yeah, this time we got a nice group together, and we timed it. Although there wasn't much time left on the timer, but we did it, and this was definitely a tough key. Tryharding on my DK exhausted me a bit, so I decided to jump back on my monk and farm some 7s so that I could have crests to craft items and upgrade them. And at this point on my monk, I was starting to get the hang of like rotating my cooldowns efficiently so that the party didn't drop too low and people didn't die. It was still not perfect, but I was definitely managing a lot better. And then I don't know what compelled me, but I tried to do my Theater of Pain 10. And our attempted method of skipping the trash, which was paralyzing one of the mobs and knocking them back with Ring of Peace, it didn't work. And once the paralysis wore off, that whole pack just charged into the boss and I couldn't keep the group alive. After wiping, we tried again, and the exact same thing happened. So I decided to jump on my Death Knight and try farming those legs again in Theater of Pain, just doing it again at a low level so I could do it quick. And here you can see we tried that same skip with the monk, and it again did not work. I don't know why this is happening. Lots of people swear by the fact that this skip works, but it's never worked for me. I think I've seen it fail 4 times. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me why this doesn't work or what exactly you need to do to make it work. And no legs yet again. At this point I was kind of bored of spamming the same character over and over, so I kept logging from one to another. I tried another 10 on my monk, and this did not go too well. And then it was just more of spamming keys, no rest, just go, all of my characters need crests. So yeah, just a no-brainer, kept spamming keys. On my Demon Hunter is on another realm, so I actually had to, for like crafts, because I needed gold, I needed consumables and crafts, I actually picked up gathering professions, so in between keys I would just gather, and that's how I would get gold. And then it was just spamming every key imaginable on my Demon Hunter. I actually decided to try an 11 Dark Flame Cleft, because hey, Dark Flame Cleft is easy, right? But the first area you really need to have a good plan for how you're gonna pull the mobs, and because, well, my pulls were so disastrous. The key just ended right there, unfortunately. And then I went back to that depleted 9 floodgate on my monk and actually timed it again pretty easily. Once again emboldened by how easy that 9 was, I decided to go for a 10, and this was a priory, which is not one of the easiest dungeons in general, and definitely not one of the easiest to heal. In the more dangerous areas where you got the divine tolls, the tank pulled pretty carefully, 1 pack at a time, and yeah, this went pretty favorably for me. This meant that I could keep the group up, and we timed the key, which was great. So with my first 10 out of the way on my monk, it was time to jump back on the Demon Hunter and fill out those vault slots with more 10s. Then I gave one more try for trying to get the neck from Cinderbrew. Didn't get it again, unfortunately. Did yet another 11 on my DK, pretty smooth. And then pugged Heroic One-Arm Bandit again for the Trinket. It dropped, and I did not get it. My friend almost won it for me, but then she got outrolled. And my last attempt at a key for the week was this 12 Theater of Pain, which we were quite behind the timer on, and yeah, it just didn't happen. So here's the state of affairs at the end of the first week. You can see the state before I started the challenge on the left, and the state at the end of the first week on the right. As you can see, I filled out all of my vault slots for my DK and my Demon Hunter, all of the myth track options, and I got 1 myth track option on my monk and 2 hero track options. My rating also went up by 300 on my DK and my DH, and it went up quite a bit, 1,300 almost, on my monk, because I actually did all of the keys. The progress was not insane, but I did manage to fill out my vaults, very importantly, including, very surprisingly, I did my first 10 on my monk, having before done a maximum of a 7 or a 6. I decided to be brave and try the 10, and timed it, so that's great.
Make sure you subscribe to not miss the next weeks of the challenge, as it's gonna get spicier and spicier every week. I'll see you there.